So just to kind of start as an introduction, just to let everyone know in this recording, or anyone who happens to tune into the Knowledge Education podcast, maybe it's an interview, maybe it's an introduction, a little bit to get to know who we are as a nonprofit organization. So just to kind of share everyone's background and introduction of who I am and who I have here speaking with us. Um, so my name is Michael Tia. I am actually a kind of like a development lead is what I've been dubbed as a title with the Knowledge Exchange, and I actually help one actually start like a podcast so that way the people can kind of get to know the heart behind TKE and what we're all about. And I actually have with me joining me today for an interview, Kelly.
I am Kelly Hines. Hi, everyone.
All right.
Yeah, me keep going and introduce myself.
Yeah, feel free to give me a little bit of your background, and I'll go into a bit more about what TK is about, from at least my understanding. And you actually been here longer than I have, so you may actually have a little bit more to spill about TKE.
Awesome. Yeah. So my name is Kelly. I am the COO with TKE. I'm a tutor for TKE, and I'm also a teacher outside of TKE. I have been with TKE actually since last March, kind of when the pandemic started, and been with them since. I started out as a tutor last year, tutoring a middle school student, and then now I'm currently tutoring a third grade student through TKE. I teach third grade outside of school, so kind of like it aligned. One of my students that I am tutoring is actually my actual student in school. So
Wow.
um, she's very comfortable with me, and it makes our sessions run super smooth. As a COO with TKE, some of my responsibilities right now are managing the orientations and the instructor interviews. So I kind of interview our instructors and then give them an orientation once we decide we're going to go forward with them becoming part of the nonprofit. And I also currently oversee a partnership that we have with our ARCS tutors, which are our who are high schoolers in California. So we actually have tutors in California who are instructing students on the East Coast. So it's kind of
Wow.
cool. Yeah, I was meeting with them bi-weekly. Now we're kind of meeting monthly just because they've gotten in a groove and they actually manage themselves pretty well. So we communicate as issues or problems arise, but really, for the most part, they're pretty good being self-sufficient on their own. They're pretty remarkable high school students. So, yeah, that's kind of what I do right now as the COO. But as any special projects arise, I kind of help Jimmy or Angie tackle that one. Like we're looking forward to hopefully having a STEM program up and running with TKE in the next couple months. So that's kind of the next major project that I'm kind of working on.
Wow, that's really awesome to hear. Like, I didn't know too much about the kind of like the roots and like the influence that TKE has. Just to kind of share a little bit background of TKE from at least my perspective and a little bit of what I've learned so far. So TKE, the Knowledge Exchange, is actually known as a nonprofit that believes in education as equality, and that the fact that we also want to have an even playing field. We want to give everyone an opportunity, and we said education is one of those areas that we see across the US, around the world even. But we love to focus locally on what we can do to help achieve in our community. You actually get to kind of hear later on from more of Jimmy, who actually founded TKE, and actually who is a friend I got to know through playing a trading card game called Final Fantasy, which was a very wholesome community, and that's how I've kind of connected with him and kind of monitored TKE from a distance from Facebook, seeing what you guys have done and doing volunteer work, providing amazing quality tutors at a amazing low price, really. I mean, for like $10 a session you can do, and we're actually offering a Patreon where you can sponsor a student for as little as $10 a month or $40. And if you feel like you're a big community outreach, then you can reach up for I think maybe $60 for a month to help support the cause. So that's kind of a little bit background from my understanding from TK, and what I've actually learned to kind of love about TK is actually the people behind it. I mean, it's a very much a can-do, no red tape, just kind of let's get something done, let's make actually get some results, and actually let's actually work with the community importantly, and so. I actually believe in being a like servant leadership. It's the type of style that I've kind of grown up with and learned through like of course my work and my backgrounds. I saw that Jimmy was kind of doing that. He was out in the community reaching out, and I saw like a little bit of like your work with the tutoring, and Angie's just kind of like chucking away. If you haven't actually followed us on like Facebook or check out the website, she posts quite very often on a regular daily basis. So that's a little bit of like my perspective on TKE. What was kind of like your take? Like, what got you started and joined up with TKE? What made you, I guess, you want to get more involved?
Yeah. So actually I met Jimmy and Angie or even heard about TKE through a mutual friend. Someone that Jimmy and went to the gym with actually. And they have a young daughter who was actually in my class. But it so happened that Jimmy just asked this mutual friend, do you know any teachers that are looking to help get our nonprofit started, kind of help families at the beginning of COVID, get involved? And this mutual friend reached out and I just like jumped on the opportunity. Obviously, I have a love and passion for the education system, and it's something that I value and I think is super important, especially in our local community. I am a teacher in the city of Fredericksburg. So, knowing that I'm helping give back to the community that I'm involved with just is super important to me. So I jumped on the opportunity. I became a tutor and then just kind of working with them all summer. I got more and more involved, just going to events and different things, or just trying to brainstorm with Angie and Jimmy, like how to get more students to hear about us. Because again, like this was at the beginning of COVID. Um, so then a position opened as the COO and they asked me if I wanted to get more involved with the admin part of things. And so, yeah, that's kind of how just a mutual friend and, um, and then kind of being at the right place in the right time because it was at the beginning of COVID, like I said, and I was one of the first tutors that we had. I was super excited. I missed my students so much. I was like, get me involved with whatever I can do to help. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's amazing. I mean, especially like having a nonprofit kind of started in a crazy of event of a history of a pandemic, with COVID going on. All of our education systems have transitioned to being more at home. You have your classic Zoom calls, your memes, your videos, all the stories that you hear about, adapting to it. I mean,
Yeah.
me personally, if it was during my high school years, I would have loved it. I was much of a homebody, so it would have been more convenient. But understanding like the struggle is for a lot of like the elementary, middle schoolers, and it still is for many high schoolers for being such a social bug. Like I'm not super social, but I can get away with a little bit with just a little less interaction with people. But how's that like impacted like this whole process of you working in schools, teaching, and then you're now even volunteering as a tutor, doing all this remotely?
Yeah, so it has been a struggle. I was like kind of the opposite in growing up. I was a social butterfly. I loved school because I loved being around my friends and being like just obviously learning because I am a teacher. Learning to me is something I've always valued, but I liked being in school, seeing my friends, um, being involved with it whatever I can. I played a lot of sports. I was in DECA club, so stuff like that. So to me, being as a teacher now, it's been very hard for me because I take my relationships with my students very personal, and I think it's very important. And something as simple as going to one of their sports events on the weekend is something that I was doing
Hmm.
every weekend when things were normal. Going to a play, doing whatever I can to kind of make sure that they know that they're important to me. So it's been hard getting to know my entire class at the beginning of the year through a computer screen. And especially, I think there's advantages and disadvantages between the younger students and the older students. I think at the high school level, it's definitely preparing them for college if that's the track that they're going on. They have to stay organized. They have to make sure that they're showing up to their Zooms and whatnot, doing their work online. Um, Kind of asking them to grow up a little bit earlier than they would be in college, or whatever they choose to do after high school. In the lower grades, it's been hard. In the city of Fredericksburg, we have allowed students to come back in the building 2 days a week. So I do get half of my class that has chose to come in as hybrid Monday and Tuesday, and then have my class Thursday, Friday. But I still do have students virtual at home at all times. So it's been a lot of change. I now live teach virtually with my kids at home and my kids in the classroom at the same time. So I'm and we were
That's
being pulled in many directions at one time, but this is what we chose, at my grade level in 3rd grade, and I do like it. Sometimes it's hard because 'cause I'm trying to help a student in person and help a student online, but I've been very lucky with been an amazing class that I have, and they're very patient, and the
oh
parents are understanding, so that has helped, and I try to find little ways to still help them know that they're important to me. I'll like drop off stuff at their house at the beginning of the year. Like they got postcards that they scratched off with my face, like so they could see their teacher kind of like any way besides
uh,
um, through a computer screen. And I try to find fun ways so that they know. And I can, that's just how all the teachers are at my school. They go above and beyond for their students because we know students that know you care, the students that want to come to class, they want to try hard in any situation, whether it's in person or through a computer. So definitely pros and cons to all of this. And then knowing that I give a lot of credit to all the parents and the families and the kids that are getting tutoring sessions because I know that they're on a computer all day long and then they take that extra hour a day for tutoring to be on the computer even longer. So um, I know it's a lot of computer time, but it's appreciated for all the families that are still taking school seriously and still getting the help when they know that that's what their child needs.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my background or my like little siblings, right? I have a brother who's going through like community college, and I have a little sister who's actually going through high school. It's kind of her like peak years. She's currently like a sophomore in high school, and so like all her classes are through Zoom. We're actually kind of doing like with the family tutoring. Mostly my brother tutoring her since he's more of like the chemistry and the science background. I have
Mhm.
more of like the computer science that's kind of worked with. So in terms of like the difference of the environments of like working in a classroom and then doing a tutoring, like what's like kind of like the mindset or mentality? Is there like a difference in how you feel the impact is when you're just tutoring and being able to actually share like this level of quality that you would do in your classroom, but also as well with a nonprofit organization?
Yeah, and I think that is like I have that benefit because I do have a background in education. But I can say the same. Every instructor that I have interviewed, like you can tell the passion that they have behind like why they're doing this. And I know that that trickles into their sessions in a sense. Like I just feel like they if they I think our tutors care and that shows in their sessions, just like teachers care. They want their students to succeed. Like our tutors want these students to succeed. So I think they find any way to make tutoring sessions enjoyable so that the students do want to come and get that extra support and extra help, which I think goes a long way.
It's great to hear that like the quality that you can get from like a classroom and then moving over to like a small session that's actually accessible. Like I mean, since we're able to do online, that's kind of like the unique part of technology is that we can have a larger grasp. And actually, we kind of want to learn a little bit more about like the students. I mean, is there like a range of students that we're operating? I know a lot of it is actually out of Fredericksburg, Virginia, right out here down down the road from us. Um,
Mhm.
what's that kind of been like the reach, the students
We
and the
have
range?
well, I know like age range, we have kindergartners all the way to adults studying for their GED. So we have a wide range of um, students and instructors as well. I mean, I'm a teacher, but we have plenty of engineers that work for us and definitely tackle on that like high school science and math and stuff. But we have, like I said, not only do we have instructors instructing from California, but we also have, I think our farthest student currently is in Massachusetts. And
Wow.
that's the benefit of being in a pandemic and are like starting out our nonprofit in the pandemic, we were able to um, accommodate to those families maybe one just because of our price and our affordability but also because we can be through a computer or whatnot. And I know even um, we've gone to the extent of like buying writing pads and stuff for students that are local that we can get to kind of help foster their sessions with their instructors too. So it's been nice. We've definitely learned a lot of skills that are helpful for our families and our instructors, like during this crazy time, which could definitely doesn't hurt for the future.
Absolutely, yeah. And like since you're kind of getting like the skills for doing it online distance, like I mean, have you picked up some tips and tricks of like how to juggle with in school? Is it a little easier to compartmentalize? Like you got this class, you're focused it, but now that you're getting thrown all at once, it's all online, and there's not like how you say it.
I'm a crazy, like, computer lady, and I am not a tech person at all. I'm learning every day, honestly. I have 4 monitors at school that I'm looking at all times, and my students in person, because I like to have my Zoom students on one screen. I like to have what I'm projecting to both the classroom and the students online on my projector. I like to monitor their work on my personal laptop, and then on my school laptop, I manage like what is being shared to all of them. So I'm like, I wish I had like 12 extra hands. But definitely the hardest part I think is a lot of my students have different devices. And so I can't always see what they see. And it's hard for
Mm.
young students to explain what they have. And if our computers aren't like compatible, if they don't have a school issue laptop, I can't like control their device virtually and stuff. And so it's a lot of like, tell me what you see. Share your screen with me, and a lot of like iPads and stuff that's hard to do. So it's just every day just trying to be patient. And again, I'm speaking for the elementary level, so I bet at the high school level it runs a lot smoother. But when I was tutoring a middle school student, it was she could share her screen with me and I could kind of help her go through like, okay, this is what you're missing and this is how you know what you're missing, and kind of help her with that virtually, which I know at the middle school level these teachers have hundreds of kids, so it's hard for these teachers to be able to find that time to help
Mm.
these students, which was great that I was able to help her.
Absolutely, yeah. Like before, it used to be like you could come to class, you just focus on teaching. Now we're having teachers being the like mini tech support, where they're helping every student just to be on the same page. That's an extra workload. I've done tech support, and that should be a whole separate thing by itself. And just to have teachers kind of being bombarded with doing the schoolwork, engaging and socializing, preparing the students for the real world, and all of this, that's like a kudos for all the teachers out there and yourself for doing all the work. In terms of like the same like how the tech has kind of so the part I was actually gonna ask about like pairing side by side. I mean, as a you're in the system working with the students and working with the like in the public school system, how do you feel like TKE is a great way to kind of fill in the gaps that you are seeing, or if there's any gaps in the public education system, or how it can be complemented for the both of them?
Yeah, I think that our Black Lives Matter of Fredericksburg partnership that we have currently, where we are tutoring 11 students from James Monroe High School, which is the Fredericksburg City Public Schools high school, right there, like our partnership with them. Of course, there's plenty of students that we hope to reach too that could benefit from this tutoring, but getting that partnership where we could get 11 students instantly tutoring for free, our tutor sessions for free, is helping bridge that gap, because with our partnership with them, they have fully funded 11 students for 6 months to get tutoring for free. So I know that's a partnership that we're definitely looking to continue, but it goes right in hand of how TKE is giving back to the public school system as much as they can. Again, like I said, I'm tutoring my own student. Um, who is in my classroom every day because she just needs that little extra help. And it's nice to see it being given, like TK being given directly back into Fredericksburg. And then also just on top of it, like TKE will never turn anyone away for not being able to afford tutoring. So like that's something we strive on. Like we will find partnerships, we will find Patreons to fund you. Money is never going to be a reason why we say no to someone being tutored, because that is defeating our entire philosophy. And of course, we're a nonprofit, we're not a business. Um, the funding that we have is going directly back into all of our tutoring sessions. Like I said, whether it's tablets we're buying or events that we're having for our families, just like anything that we can do to funnel that money right back into the community.
Absolutely, yeah. I definitely see that with the before COVID. I saw like the volunteer work that you guys were doing, kind of outreach. In fact, even this, I think we're actually offering like open tutoring sessions for like homework help. There's seems to be a lot of definitely like services that they're looking to expand, build upon, and then make sure to provide back locally in Fredericksburg. Um, which this is kind of fantastic. This is what I love to kind of hear because I believe in like an equal playing field. If everyone had the same opportunities, then at least everyone can like this the stars is the limit. Everything's above going what they can actually achieve. And also I believe in like tutoring because for me the closest to that is like mentoring in life. Like it's always good to have a support system that maybe some kids don't get in some public schools I've seen, and this is a great way to actually be connected with a good support system, getting understanding of healthy habits and mindset of people, helping them going through their school and education and so forth.
Definitely. And I know mentoring is something that, or not even just not even just like kind of course, outside of COVID, building that relationship between the tutor and the student is something that we are looking forward to being able to do one day, where we can do those outreach projects, like the cleanups or whatever we can do outside in the community with instructors and tutors, or instructors and students, to kind of give them that um, big brother, big sister, mentor kind of vibe. Because, like you said, like a lot of our students that unfortunately need this tutoring are also students that need a positive role model or someone that they know cares about them in their life. And so I know I'm personally looking forward to get back out there in the
Right.
community and work on things together, um, and also just show especially the older age students, like how great it feels to give back, and especially give back into the community where you live. I know that we do our like there's a trees of Fredericksburg, I think it's called, or something.
Hmm.
Me and Angie could definitely follow up on that with you, but I know that we're looking into like the springtime doing something where we plant trees around Fredericksburg with a local nonprofit that does that. So I'm just looking forward to all those types of things because I actually like volunteering my time.
Absolutely, yeah. I can't wait to like kind of get back. That's why I kind of got myself on board because I was just seeing like one the heart of the people that everyone's kind of lined up in the values and also giving back. It's always something like a warm feeling. Just kind of give back to know that a little bit of your legacy, a little bit piece of whatever you've gained at this point, you've passed someone else to help build upon. I mean, as far as I understand, like the world is just built on from history of hundreds of millions of people and years of what they've done, and we're just paying it forward. And I always believe in paying it forward, either be good karma, whatever you like to believe in, or paying back threefold. I always feel like the like good like kind of triumphs over everything if you willing to put some work into it. But yeah, otherwise I think that's everything kind of wrapped up for it. So like this is a great kind of going through some of the questions. I know there were some more like personal ones I would love to kind of touch base, but I think it was starting to kind of reach up on editing. So I really actually thank you for your time, Kelly, for actually joining on for the little interview session, kind of share about more of the tutoring aspect, what it's like for a student to kind of work with TKE, and then a little bit of just what we're all about.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Bye, Michael.